At the very core of it, obviously there was a lot of brainstorming going on. You know, I had this very ambitious idea when we started out. I was like, I want to, you know, come up with 100 ideas and whittle it down to the 5 best ones.
It was fast and furious, a total just frenzy of filmmaking.
If you actually step back to look at it, it was insane to try to go into something like this. And I think the end result was unbelievable.
Me and Dan were living together. We'd both gone to USC Film School, and I was working with Will at that time. Obviously, you guys were doing VGHS with Will. You guys, I think, trying to look for the next show. We told the Rocket Jump crew, hey, we're working on this idea for like a sci-fi anthology, especially Des being such a huge horror and sci-fi like pulp guy. He was a big champion for it. So we started meeting with him regularly. And that's really how it like first started. That was the genesis of where we started meeting regularly to develop these ideas.
If you consider pre-production the start of writing to the beginning of principal photography, pre-production was probably about 3 to 4 years. So the process was wide-ranging.
Then there came a point where we decided we have an hour-long TV show on our hands and rewrote everything for an hour-long. Unfortunately, a lot of it was writing stories that didn't make the cut.
They went through like 16, 17 ideas before they got down to the final 6. I think it was just finding the ones that also just like stuck with them and that the characters really resonated.
You have to break down our writing process in all the stages of production that we went through. There was the initial development that Dan David and Will went through when they were writing the web series. Then there was the development that Rocket Jump went through.
My thought would be, I would like to just check on this one because it is by far the preferred alternate.
All right, that should be good.
Okay.
All right, great, thanks.
Thanks.
We were in a really unusual position pitching the show. When we pitched Dimension 404, we had every single episode already written.
We did what was called the water bottle tour. It is like, I guess, a term in the industry.
Oh yeah, you get free water bottles.
Yeah, that's the water bottle tour. Yeah, I think that's an old Hollywood term for it. Back when in the 90s, all the studios would be one-upping each other with who had the fanciest bottles of water.
Some places will do water bottles. Some places will do nice water. Some places won't even go there. They'll be like environmentally conscious. They'll do glasses.
We knew the show backwards and forwards going into it. We were very comfortable walking into the room and talking about these stories. So we got some concept art whipped up, and we had these awesome pieces of big key art that we could point to that were essentially almost like our most iconic frames from each episode, and be able to point to that and be like, that's the feel of the show. And like, I think it was Time Rider reaching out to Sue in the rain, and for Sinithrax, it was like the monsters coming out of the screen. So essentially that was how we pitched it. I mean, we pitched it all over town to a lot of different places.
What's great about an anthology show, and as I think reflected in this show, is that every week you get to do something new. You know, the elevator pitch is obviously, oh, it's just a modern day Twilight Zone, but that's not really what it is. We were very much kept saying it's not really about technology being bad, but it's about how technology is challenging and changing our world and making us curious and making us self-reflexive and kind of think about ourselves and our place. Ultimately, I think all these stories are not about technology. Technology is something that happens in the episodes, while still being very fun and very silly and very lighthearted and kind of making you question everything at the end of the day.
We are trying to pull something off that is far more ambitious than anything we've done in the past. There's not enough money to put this together, not enough time. We're trying to do a lot of big sci-fi spectacle on a small indie film budget.
This was a different beast than anything I had ever seen before because this is a hybrid in every which way.
We didn't have the time or money to shoot a pilot episode to sort of figure out and reverse engineer from that what the rest of the show has to feel like. So we have one at bat to hit a grand slam.
You know, you're sitting for like weeks and months and years kind of like talking about these ideas, and you're like, oh yeah, there's like a 1980s arcade, and yeah, it's this monster, and then like suddenly you're on a soundstage and it's like, oh, there it is.
There it is. Yeah. This is day one of production. Everything's up and running. It all seems to be going super smooth, so let's just hope the rest of them go just as well.